we have a responsibility to get the work to the streets.
MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Highways, movement of goods, these are things that we rely on every day.
Got to have the ability to get their product to market.
As long as you're performing, we want to be behind you pushing.
Welcome in to another edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm MDOT Digital Media Manager Paul Catul. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Will Kraft. He handles government and constituent affairs here at the agency. And Will, we've been on the road for the past couple episodes and very excited to be back here at the MDOT Global Headquarters in Jackson. Nice. And we've got the chief on the show. We've got MDOT Deputy Executive Director, Chief Engineer Brian Ratliff here to speak with us, to give us some MDOT updates, a little information on Brian. If you haven't heard from him before on previous episodes, he's been with MDOT since 1996. He was also the DE for District 5, and he was appointed Deputy Executive Director, Chief Engineer in 2020. Interesting time for sure. Brian, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank y'all for having me.
We appreciate Ms. Penny letting you come down here.
Absolutely. Brian, a big project just wrapped up. We want to put a bow on it. Highway 49 in Rankin County. You played several different roles during the project, and so from kind of a personal standpoint, what does it mean to wrap that project up? What does it mean for the traveling public out there?
Well, it was a major construction project down there on 49 between Florence and Richland. I started working on Highway 49 in the right-of-way acquisition phase. Did a lot of eminent domain, had to go to court a lot to purchase the property from landowners and stuff. And then I was in charge of relocating the utilities down there. Buying the right-of-way took about 3 years. Relocating the utilities took about 2.5. And like you said, we're putting a bow on that thing down there, and took 5 years to see it complete. So, the travel times I've heard have reduced by 15 to 20 minutes, depending on where you're coming from. So traffic has been flowing really well, and I think it looks really, really good. And got to thank the contractor, Yates Construction, out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. They worked 24/7, and got that project complete.
Excellent.
Had some issues, over the years, right? Things popped up. Things happen, unfortunately. But, man, it is a gem now that's done. I think it's going to be something we can be proud of for years, right?
Absolutely. And, we talk about the local commute, times going down. Also, we talk about, the corridor, the goods and services that run up from the coast to Jackson. And so it's going to increase the efficiency of getting the goods and service where they need to go.
No doubt. So I've been with MDOT for 6 years now, and I've noticed a pattern. So there's these big projects, I-55 South in Madison County, Highway 12 in Starkville, 49 in Rankin County. And, it is an inconvenience for sure. But it's worth kind of just seeing things through, because it seems like once they're done, people are very happy, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And I've got to commend all the residents, Florence and Richland. They were very, very patient while we were down there reconstructing 49. Like I say, it's a lot smoother. It's a lot safer. All those traffic signals are timed together. And, I was driving down last Sunday, and, I didn't stop till I got to Jerry's Seafood down there. So all the way from I-20. So, I just zipped right through there and was down there in about 16 minutes, but I can't tell you I was speeding. So.
But still, to not have to stop from 20 all the way down to Jerry's, that's a pretty good stretch.
That is good.
It was, and it was a pleasant ride. And my son was in the back, and he said, "Man, this is a smooth road, Dad."
It is smooth.
It is. So it's something to be proud of, and many years to come.
I am very much thankful. I don't do nearly as much commuting up and down it as I used to, but I still remember those days. But talking about projects and especially big ones going on, I-20, we got the big stuff happening right now, right?
Yeah. We had a ribbon cutting 2 days ago.
Yeah.
On I-20, we completed the bridge that was right there, I-20 eastbound around McDowell Road exit and I-55 south. Big bridge, and we did that in traffic. We did it most of it at night. We kept lanes open, and kept goods and freight moving and getting everybody to and from work. But I'm really proud of that project, the way it turned out.
Got finished a little bit ahead of time,
Yep,
too.
Yeah, we did. And, again, I want to commend the contractor, Key LLC. They're out of Madison, Mississippi. They did an excellent job on completing that bridge a little early.
That's awesome. I didn't, to be honest with you, I really didn't even notice. My commuting back and forth, a whole lot of traffic turnover that, folks in other places trying to avoid it. So, I mean, I know it must have been pretty good. They did a great job of getting folks through there even while they were working on it,
Yeah,
apparently.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, Brian, we just talked about putting a bow on 49, but there's other projects going on in the state. There's a big one up in Itawamba County that people, don't think about as much. But can you kind of walk us through the major projects that are going on in the state right now?
Yeah, I mean, two come to mind real quick. Corridor V, like I said, in Itawamba County. We've basically completed all the dirt work. It's turned into a paving job. We're about 50% complete with the paving, and we're going to finish that project early.
Love that. Love that.
Oh, absolutely.
Always love it.
Greenville, we got one up in Greenville. It's the Greenville Bypass on Highway 82, and we've moved over 600,000 cubic yards of bar dirt to build that roadway. We got a little slow starting off, but we've completed 3 box culverts and started our drill shaft construction. And like I say, moving the dirt has been a real good thing going on that the contractor has really accelerated and has performed really well.
It's a good deal.
And these aren't really capacity projects, right, that we're talking about?
Well, I mean, they're definitely new projects.
Okay.
New roadways. Corridor V, didn't exist before we started this, and then the Highway 82 bypass is, a new road on new alignment as well. So,
what kind of are some projects that we talked a lot about last legislative session? We got some extra money for X, Y, and Z for paving, kind of moving some capacity projects ahead. Any of those capacity things kind of moving yet?
Oh yeah, we did get from the legislation session, we've got $45 million to improve our maintenance program, which is basically our paving program, and we got $35 million to go towards capacity projects, and it specifically said to do pre-construction.
Yep.
To spend those dollars, and we've already started working on those projects. We've identified them. The commission approved 2 commissions ago updated 3-year plan, and we added those capacity projects to the plan, and we're moving.
And then you mentioned it already, talking about the maintenance part, the money. I know inflation's kind of hit us a little bit there.
Oh yeah, I mean, the day of $100 a ton asphalt is over. So with the additional $45 million that the legislature gave us for this year, basically, inflation is eating that up. But we were able to give one district an extra paving project out of that $45 million. So we did bring some forward, but we didn't bring as much as we thought we could due to inflation.
And I'm sure that's hitting every category of construction.
Bridge concrete, clay gravel, dirt, all of it. Basically it boils down to trucking and labor costs that and the material has went up as well. But right now, trucking, getting people to have their CDL license to get the material from the asphalt plant to the job has been a big problem, and then finding labor. So that's why we're seeing increased price.
For sure. So Brian, we're recording this episode on August 25th. Yesterday we had some pretty crazy weather. Some
we had washouts. A big day yesterday. There's no doubt.
It was pretty crazy, and honestly, we're not out of the woods yet. We could see some more in the coming days. But as that was happening after the fact, we made preparation, everything. MDOT workers. Let's talk about them. They're the first responders. They were out there all night making repairs and things like that. Let's pump them up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, man. I didn't go to bed till probably 1 o'clock this morning. I was listening to the radio, CB radios, and our crews were out all night, staying with the flooding that was occurring. We were making repairs to the roadway and shoulders last night as well. I got a text from a buddy of mine during the day, and he had been looking at our MDOT traffic cameras and stuff, and he took a picture of a guy that was standing on I-55 around Meadowbrook Road in the pouring down rain, and he was shoveling to trying to unclog a drain. And we think about how dangerous that is. You've got water in the road, and everybody's driving real fast, and he's trying to get the roadway back safe to where the water can drain off there, and I wouldn't want to be put in that situation, but our guys always step up, and we don't thank them enough, and I don't think we can thank them enough, but they really go above and beyond. And like I say, we were out working all night, and we're back at it again this morning.
No doubt. These men and women are true heroes. They put their lives on the line to make sure that everybody can get where they need to be, which is truly admirable.
Yes, absolutely. And like I say, I just can't thank them enough that, I really don't see how they do what they do, but they're very, very talented, very, they're MDOT people, man. They just love the state of Mississippi. They love their work, and they love their coworkers and being part of the MDOT family.
Well, and first responders by every merit of the definition, I mean, generally if storms come through and stuff like that, people think blue lights and MEMA and stuff like that, but usually they're following an MDOT vehicle or a crew to get into these areas.
I don't think I've seen MHP or Department of Public Safety have a backhoe.
That's right.
To be able to move big trees that have fell across the road.
And we are certainly appreciative and would talk very highly about the work these other agencies do. I think our guys get left out of that true first responder.
Oh, absolutely. Get chainsaws, skid
That's
steers,
right.
front end loaders, and get that stuff out of the way to where, we can get a fire truck or we can get an ambulance to, wherever it needs to be. And usually we're the first ones down.
And you mentioned it, talking about, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. This is what's today, the 24th, 25th?
Yeah.
I think Thursday. I'm hearing Saturday the river's supposed to crest. We'll see.
Well, I just got off a conference call with the Weather Service, and
Okay. The latest breaking news here.
Yeah, exactly. And they're really saying it's going to crest Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm hearing the number of 36 feet.
True.
Which is pretty amazing. Back in 2020, I think it got to 36.6.
Yeah.
So we'll be ready to be able to close lanes off as needed. So we've got a pretty good experience with about that level of flood, that level of the river and what it floods first and all that. So we'll be ready.
What were you telling me earlier? Was it 9 inches that Newton saw?
Yeah, 9 inches of rain yesterday in a 24-hour period, and in the last 72 hours in that same area, we've gotten 14 inches total.
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
Absolutely wild. Brian, this has been a question we've got a lot on social media, copper wire theft, and you have an update on that, right?
Man, I've got plenty of copper wire.
There we go.
Copper wire theft stories, but yes, we did meet with the City of Jackson and Department of Public Safety. Commissioner Tyndall was there, Commissioner Simmons was there, the Director Brad White, folks from the district, JPD, the mayor of Jackson, and we were discussing Huntington County Board of Supervisors was there as well, attended, and we think we got a lot of good information, and we look forward to implementing some things to try to stop that.
Excellent. I can't imagine the round table trying to come up with those solutions, because like you said, it happens sometimes. You just had, maybe middle of the day or middle of the night, you don't know.
That's
the
right.
Poles over there kind of tucked away from the woods. I can only imagine. That's pretty wild. Yeah. Well, we're kind of wrapping things up here, getting to the end of it. As you know, we always hit you with the food question. Refresher. So Brian mentioned last time one of his favorite places to eat was Mama Hamill's. So we're gonna do some fantasy football keeper rules. You can't use the same place again. Have you been to anywhere new recently, maybe, or have a new favorite, or somebody else you give a shout out?
Well, something that is a little lighter. I like. It's over in Pearl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you remember the name of it?
I do. Frisco's.
Frisco's
right?
Deli. I think the first time I met you, I took you there, Will.
Probably. I had to learn how to order. You got to be quick in there.
That's exactly right. Super good service.
That's awesome.
Super good food, and they give you a lot, and you can get in and out of there. But you see a lot of local people there, and some. See, if I went every week, I could see the same person 2 or 3 times.
And it was good too. I mean, that place was packed. Every time I've driven by there, it's like that.
It's a line out in the street every day.
Which always tells you it's good.
That's exactly right.
And then a new one we're going to throw at you, a little bit different here off the beaten path. First vehicle. It was a transportation podcast. We get a little out there. What was your first car, Brian?
My first car was a late 1980s Buick Regal,
Oh yeah.
2-door,
Oh yeah.
2-door.
They didn't want you. They didn't want you to have any passengers.
I don't know, but yeah, that was my first car.
As I remember my dad saying, "No, you're gonna get a single cab because you don't need to be driving anybody else around." You know, time I had my backpack over there, that was about all I could carry in my little truck. What about a favorite? If you could have any, you know, you ever had a dream ride?
Well, sort of, kind of, but I'm a Ford man, so I'm a Mustang GT guy.
Oh, okay,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with
302.
that. Pass everything on the
5
highway
speed.
except a gas station.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
Right on, right on.
That's good stuff. So we'll ask you one more question just before we get out of here. State Personnel Board, SEC Squared. How has that kind of played out for MDOT employees?
Well, you know, the last time I was on, I told you that the director had made it a focus of mine to be able to get employees' salaries up. We did a first round of salary adjustments, and it was well received and well deserved. And we're still looking at doing another round of salary adjustments pretty soon, and hopefully we'll do that by Christmas. And like I say, the system has really, helped MDOT be able to retain some folks. You know, we had about 25, 30 people that actually pulled their retirement, they're ready to retire. And because of these salary adjustments, they've decided to stay. So that means the more experienced people we were able to hold on to where we could train some of our new people. And we're hoping that now that we've gotten our salaries to be more competitive, that we will be able to actually, hire some new people in. And while we're retaining these older guys with the experience, and to be able to train them before we put them in the management positions.
That's excellent. An organization this large, institutional knowledge is a huge, huge thing. So
Yeah, we just had one of your guys in here is EIT working through the system. Special shout out to our LPA folks for coming to visit the podcast studio.
Yeah, and he was an Ole Miss fan. I don't know why we were leaving him.
hey.
But we are getting close to football season. We could
are.
talk
Yes, we
a little bit
are.
of football, but
This Saturday, right? Or
think
maybe
so.
even
They call
Thursday
it
or-
week 0.
There
so,
we go.
Yeah. We'll see. So anyway, that'll have to be its own special episode. We'll do an
Absolutely.
MDOT college football preview. Everything will be very civil. I kid.
Maybe.
Anyway, Brian, we really appreciate you dropping by, and we'll definitely have you in the future as things kind of move forward on these projects and such. So thank you for being with us.
well, thank y'all for having me again. And look, I support y'all in this podcast. I loved listening to the podcast, and I wish I was on the road a little more where I could listen to a lot more of them.
Well, thanks.
But y'all have done an excellent job, and want to just thank y'all for taking the time and do it.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, we sincerely appreciate it. And with that,
I'm gonna give all the credit to Drew though. He makes us look and sound pretty on the.
that is the absolute truth.
Katie keeps us in line.
Definitely. So let's wrap things up and thank all the listeners out there for tuning into the Extra Mile podcast. We also want to thank, we just talked about her, Katie Hornsby, who's our producer, and our editor, Drew Hall. Remember, you can listen, watch each episode by visiting gomdot.com/the extra mile. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Severe weather, projects, anything you want to find out about MDOT at Mississippi DOT is the handle there. We'll leave you with a tagline. Remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.